Margaret Brennan was at that press conference, and she joins me live from London right now. Great to see you, Margaret. I'm curious, what stuck out to you about that press conference and which points that they were making?
Well, there were a few things. First, on that topic of so-called Brexit, or the question of whether the UK should stay in the EU or leave the European Union, the president really made extended remarks. I mean, you heard what a big, fiery topic it is here, reflected in the number of questions from reporters. And the president really strongly endorsed David Cameron, making an argument saying, look, the UK is only going to be stronger if it leads Europe from within that 28-nation bloc that binds together these countries economically and politically. He's saying, as a friend, this is what I'm recommending to you and to the British people. And from the view of 10 Downing Street, having that endorsement from the White House will only be a good thing when that issue comes up for referendum in June.
So the president and prime minister each made a point to emphasize the importance of the closeness of that so-called special relationship. Several times during the presser, they reiterated that. Why is that so crucial to keep repeating?
Well, a number of reasons, but the special relationship is a gesture to just how close the UK is as an ally. And the White House is saying, look, that's our special license in this case. We don't normally want to weigh in on matters of domestic politics, particularly right before a referendum. That's something that usually the U.S. tries not to do. But in this case, the president said, look, we are so close, I can tell you as a friend, this is really in your own best interest and in the best interest of national security around the world. So that's one reason. It was sort of a PR tactic. But it's also a gesture there to saying, look, don't jeopardize your position as what this Obama White House said was your position to lead from within Europe. And our special relationship is telling you we want you to be in that position because we'd like to deal with you directly as a trusted ally. So that's really why that phrase kept being used again and again. But it was also a nod to some of the hits that the president's been taking in the press here. Boris Johnson, the mayor of London, criticized the president, saying that he removed a bust of Winston Churchill from the White House, and that somehow drew into question whether there was adequate respect for the United Kingdom. And the president told this long anecdote saying, look, there were 2 busts of Winston Churchill. I see one of them every single time I leave my office. I just decided to put a statue of Martin Luther King in the Oval Office. So don't take that personally here. You shouldn't be so insecure, basically, was his point there in talking once again about the special relationship. But you did also get David Cameron weighing in on a matter of domestic politics in the United States. I asked the prime minister why the UK is warning Britons who are traveling to the U.S. to be careful in North Carolina and Mississippi, and that's specifically because of these laws that impact transgender individuals. The prime minister said, look, that's up for each state to decide, but in this country, we want to help protect the rights of people and protect them from discrimination, not enshrine it in law. So you had a little bit of a two-way criticism there, a two-way street when it comes to weighing in on domestic politics.
Margaret, you also asked the president about the controversy surrounding the transgender bills in North Carolina and Mississippi. This was one of the first times he's really responded to that, right?
It's the first time we've ever heard from the president directly on this with his personal feelings on those laws. And he said, listen, I respect a difference of opinion, but these laws are wrong and they should be repealed in North Carolina and Mississippi. He said, look, if you're in the UK and you want to travel to those states, it's perfectly fine. There are a lot of friendly people there. Don't be afraid. But these laws are discriminatory and they should be repealed. So it was very interesting to hear the president take that head on. And you had the British prime minister also directly address that, saying these are discriminatory and it's not something that we would do here in the UK. So it's certainly to get some fire and attention back home, because as you know, in those states, that decision has been hotly debated.
Margaret Brennan traveling with the president. Thank you so much.